Good morning, happy Monday. We're sitting in a truck that's yelling at me because it's low in air. We got this Columbia in here, and we're pretty well done with it, ready to go. Phil got everything put back in that he wanted to go with the truck. We're getting ready to sell it here. I think we're gonna go ahead and wash the outside of it off real quick, mostly because all the rubber from that eraser wheel that we used to get the decals off the door last week is all over the fuel tanks, and I just want to rinse it off. So we're gonna back it up here a little bit, over our drain a little bit more, get the foam cannon out, hit it with foam, rinse it off. That's it. We're not going crazy here, and then we're gonna get this out of here today so we can bring in the 8RX and our anhydrous applicator and start working on those. All right, well, there it is. We're going to rinse it off here, get it cleaned up good. Anybody's interested, let me know. I'm going to get a Facebook Marketplace listing here made up this morning. I know a couple of you guys have expressed interest. It's here. It's ready. It might go quick. It might not sell. Who knows? Who knows? But it's here, and we're going to see if we can get it sold. So it looks pretty good for the most part. All right, anyway, Brock's here. He's gonna foam it and rinse it off for me. I got stuff I'm working on. Okay, we got this all cleaned up. We even blew out the air filter, put a new cab air filter in it because, well, we had them. I think she's ready to go. You good? You good, Brock? All right, we're gonna get this out of here. We're gonna go ahead and put it in the back of the shop again because we need to get the 8RX in here. It's a nice truck. It hasn't been bad. Sucks having to shift all the time, but I'm not a real trucker, so I don't enjoy that stuff. You know, like you real truckers out there. Anyway, we're gonna put her back in the back of the shop over here. Sure, water dried in there, Brock. You're gonna have water spots on the windows now. Oh well. All right, that's gonna sit there. I opened these doors up because we're going to move the 8R and just park it right here in the back half of the shop so we got more room to work in here with the anhydrous bar and everything on the 8RX. It's amazing how nice everything starts when it's sitting in a warm, heated shop. Anyway, move this out of the way here. Look at that! We'll talk about that in a minute. This'll work. Still waiting on our lights to come. Expect them any day, but whatever. We'll go ahead and hit this. Come on. Ooh, we are in, aren't we? Yeah. So last week, a couple of times, I wore a Bobcat hat, expecting you guys to catch on to the fact that I had a Bobcat hat on, and I've never worn that before. I did not expect you to actually pick it out in the background. It was barely in any of those videos, but a couple of you, very, very observant, saw this sitting in the background. So let's talk about it. So you guys may have remembered, we've been talking about a forklift for a very long time, like almost 2 years now at this point. Not that this forklift has given us any trouble or is not capable and great for farm use, but our forklift at our Berkey farm is not good. It's ancient, it's cumbersome, and it doesn't move very well, and I mean, it's fine for what it is, but we just needed something better. And so we're going to take that forklift to Berkey, sell the one that we've got down there, and we replaced it with this. This is a Bobcat branded forklift, which is a pretty new thing. They've only been making Bobcat branded forklifts for about a year or so here, I guess. So that one is a Daewoo branded. Daewoo doesn't exist anymore. They got bought out by Doosan. Doosan also owns Bobcat. You'll see that right here. So essentially this is the new version of that. That forklift, I think we bought it in like 2012-ish time frame, somewhere in there. Had it for a long time. It's been pretty good. Really, like I said, we've had very little trouble with it. So, yeah, we ended up with this. This is a really, really nice forklift. It is brand new. Has a whopping 2.1 hours on it. And it's a 6,000 pound lift capacity. So that one is a 5, this one is a 6, a little bit bigger. It is a dual fuel, that's why it drives around without a tank on the back here, because it also runs on gasoline, which is more convenient for us. We might get a propane tank and throw it on there just because, but we've almost never run that one on propane, and that one's dual fuel as well. It has the triple mast lift, so we can lift up high. It has side shift. It has, obviously the tilt forward and back, and it also has a fork positioner, so we can move forks in and out on this, and that's super nice. I've got that on one of my forklifts down at the seed warehouse. We really like that feature, and for a farm where, this is not a warehouse setting or a factory setting where you're lifting pallets or the exact same thing every single time over and over and over again. We're going from seed boxes to pallets of chemicals like that, to dad lifting logs on and off of his sawmill, to weights on tractors where you got to have the forks tight together, all kinds of different stuff like that. So that's why we decided that the fork positioners were worth it in this case. So we actually ordered this quite a long time ago, like back in July or August. We were supposed to get it at the end of October, 1st of November, and then that didn't happen. Then it was supposed to be the end of December, and that didn't happen. And finally, it showed up last week. So we're pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be great. It's one of those things that's a little bit hard to spend the money on because, it's not field. It doesn't go to the field. It doesn't do anything for us as far as field work goes. It's for moving pallets and stuff around. But when we need one, we need it to be capable. We use it enough to justify this. And what ended up happening was we were shopping and looking at used ones. And I know you can buy used forklifts for $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000. But they're all high-houred. They've all got leaks, so they're just not great. And finding one spec'd the way that we want, the 6,000 pound lift capacity, the fork positioners, all that stuff, they're very, very rare. It was hard to find it. A good used reconditioned forklift with 2,000 to 4,000 hours on it was maybe $5,000 less than this one was brand new, and so that's kind of what made the decision for us to just buy a new one. It's pretty nice. Anyway, Brock is going to clean our old one up here a little bit. We did a lot of service work to it last year. It doesn't see enough hours to require frequent oil changes and air filters and all of that stuff, but we do need to, grease it and just look at stuff and try and clean it up a little bit before it goes to Berkey, because let's be honest, once it gets there, the maintenance isn't going to happen very often, but it also is going to get very, very low use at Berkey. But again, when you need it, you need it. And with the green bin project that we've got going on down there this spring, summer, going to be awfully nice to have a capable forklift. And, okay, so I just have something that I absolutely hate on it. You have to set the parking brake or it yells at you indefinitely. And then it doesn't move with the parking brake on, which that's good, but it did come with a little steering wheel knob. That's kind of nice. Anyway, we're just gonna park this off to the side here so we can bring our tractor in, which is currently outside warming up. See this? Watch when I get up. Think you're good, right? You walk away, and then that. I don't like it. All right, we're gonna bring our tractor in here. It's been running for a little bit, so we can drop the engine oil and do that service work. Thought we might be able to unfold that bar, but I'm thinking not. Not gonna have to leave it folded up there. We can if we get back here. I thought we could leave the wingtips folded up and unfold the rest of it here, but not with that forklift there at least. All right. So we are a little over 1,200 hours on this tractor at this point. What did we have last year? 804. So yeah, we're right at 400 hours a year is about what we're putting on this. 3 years, 1,200 hours. That's right at it. We got to decide whether We want to do 1,500 hour change stuff this year at 1,200 or next year at 1,600 hours, I think. There's a fair bit of 1,500 hour stuff on this tractor, more so than some of the other ones because of the track system and some of the oil in the bogies and idler wheels and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get the book out, go through that stuff here later and see. But I think we'll do the engine oil now because the tractor's warm and been outside running. We'll get that changed. But we might focus on the anhydrous bar and get that done and everything we need to do, unless we got to wait on parts, and get it out of here so that, you know, it doesn't have to stay hooked up and we can have some more room then to work on the tractor or other stuff or whatever, and then we can do the service work and the cleaning to that. That's what I'm thinking. It looks muddy in here. Brock's doing a good job. I'm working on all kinds of stuff on the computer. I'm trying to get quotes for forklift batteries to get my one replaced, and it's a whole can of worms trying to figure out what you want there and yeah, all that. But anyway, we're getting there. I gotta get my fertilizer ordered. I've pretty well got figured out what we're gonna use. I just gotta actually place some orders. So he looks like he's having fun, doesn't he? Making progress here. We'll have to see what all we gotta get. Like I said, I don't know if these boots are that bad of shape. They might run another year. And even these beaver tails, we must have replaced them right at the end of stuff because they don't look too bad either. And the blades have only got 1 year's use on them, so we might not have to do that much here other than clean stuff up and grease it, which is surprising because this tool is usually a fairly high maintenance tool. But we did a lot last year, so we'll let it finish cleaning and take a look. Anyway, it's about lunchtime. I'm going to lunch. It's nice out today. Not as bitter cold as it has been. It's supposed to be in the low 30s for most of the week, so that's good. There's a semi. Phil's over there hauling out of the side draw, apparently, so it's good. He's been busy hauling grain for most of the month, really, and got a long ways to go, so he just kind of does it and handles it, and I don't have to worry about it. Dad doesn't have to do it. I don't have to drive truck. Phil likes doing it, and so he handles the grain haul inside of our operation, which is why you don't see me doing it. All right, we're going to recenter here and see if we can't get this thing unfolded. Brock's bored. He needs something to do, so we're going to get it unfolded so we can start working on the bar. Be a little tight here. We got that wing down. If you go slow, it doesn't unfold the tips out, so I'm just hoping to not hit the table over there with that tire. We might have to pivot it in, which can be done. Brock says we're okay. I don't know if I trust it. Okay, it's on the ground. Now we're going to back up just a touch. Not like that. Alright, that should work. Alright, well, we still got a little dirt on here, so Brock's going to keep washing. Just debating on how far we got to go. So I think once we get it cleaned up, we're going to take one of the rows apart pretty good and kind of compare some of the used parts with the new parts, see if it's something we can, you know, like we could put some weld on here and build these up a little bit, or do they need to be replaced now? I don't know. They're not as bad as what they sometimes are, but I also don't know if they're good enough to last for a full season, and I really don't want to do this in season. So, but the beaver tails, these pieces look pretty good. We have a lot of play in our closing wheel arms in here, so we might need to do some bushings on those. And I think we did the wheels on these closing wheels here just a year or two ago, so I don't think they're too bad of shape. I don't think the actual blades are in too bad of shape, but gotta look at it. We just need to get it finished cleaning it up first. Trying to decide what we did the last time we worked on this. You guys, this whole YouTube thing is kind of handy. This video was posted June 23rd of 23, after we were done with it for 23, before we used it in 24. Closing blades. The big blade, the boot, the beaver tail, all get replaced. The liquid tubes may get replaced. We'll see what we need for bolts and other hardware, but first thing we gotta do is start, just get the dirt off of it. Tells me what we did. I mean, this is Brock's job, but I'm probably gonna do some right now because he's not gonna be here for half an hour, and well, I'd like to get started. So we'll do half of it probably. Okay. Well, that's what we needed to know. So we're gonna back this thing outside here and spin it around so we can back it into the shop. We're gonna move the forklifts out of the corner over there so that we can unfold this fully, and we'll work on it in there. We're gonna have to tear stuff apart a little more than I was anticipating. There, that will work. Got them down a little bit so they're not bottomed out against the frame. I even managed to get our back tires to spin a little bit so that we got a little more room in there to work. Okay. Take it apart.
What's that?
Take it apart.
Yeah.
We'll see. So I know we don't need to replace closing discs. Those, they don't wear that much. They're going to be fine. We may take these off so that we can look at these bushings in here. We've got a few of those bushings in the parts bin, so we might as well change at least one row and see how much it tightens it up, and if we need to do the rest of them, we'll get a few more. We also need to remove the boots and the blades, compare them with some new ones, look at them. So our blades are at 21 and a half, most of them that I have measured. I haven't measured them all, but they're 22 3/4 new, which means that in a year, we wore 1 1/4 inches off of those blades. That's sort of significant. If we do another 1 1/4 inches next year, that puts them down at like just over 20 1/4. The book says, I think 20 3/4 or 20 and a half is time to replace them. So are they wore out now? No. Would they be wore out next year? Well, yeah, quite a bit. And so we're probably going to run them, but I'm going to look at a new one, compare them a little bit, and see. And then the problem is once the blades get small, then it wears the boots faster. But if we're replacing boots every year anyway, what difference does that make? And these boots that we bought last time, it was almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago when we did this. It was after we got done in the spring and before we put it away. They were a high wear one. I was really hoping to get 2 years out of them, and while they're not totally shot like the old ones were, I don't know that they got enough life in them to get another year out of them. So I don't know. I think we're going to end up putting new boots on at a minimum. The thing that really confuses me is why these beaver tails are in such good shape. I mean, most of the time those are just gone, or like even to the point where I have to replace some in season, and I don't remember doing them all in season last year, but gosh, it sure looks like they're all about brand new. So if those didn't wear out, why did the blades and the boots, or maybe they did wear out and I replaced them all in season, I just don't remember it. That's entirely possible. But they can be run for a while. So anyway, let's start taking some stuff apart. As far as the rest of it, we need to check some dates on some hoses and stuff and make sure that the liquid system and the plumbing is all in good shape. But I don't really think there's too much we need to do. We can clean out the screens in the anhydrous system. It should be totally bled out. The bleeders are open, so there's no pressure in it. There's no ammonia in there. And I think it's fine. You know, we could pull these coolers apart and rebuild them. I'm afraid kind of doing that because I know they don't make this style anymore, and I don't know that I really want to replace all of this plumbing stuff. It all seems to work okay. But Phil said something about us having a leak on something somewhere. I'm like, yeah, we did have a leak somewhere, but I don't remember where it was. I don't think it's the cooler. I think it was one of these valves or something we had a little leak on. But I don't know how to find that without hooking a tank up, and we're certainly not doing that anytime soon. So, yeah. If any of you happen to remember, because I said it in a YouTube video last year, tell me which one of those valves is leaking. I could probably go find it, but you know how long it would take me to sort through all those videos to figure that out? Brock's working on taking a row unit apart here. This gauge wheel, the bearing was wobbly on there. And bearing wasn't bad, but the plastic housing was getting wallered out. So we took a little piece of some sandpaper, emery cloth, and wrapped it around the bearing and jammed it in there. And it is for sure going to make the plastic housing worse, but it's going to be tight now, and it's already bad, so we'll get another year out of it here. Anyway, I pulled all the stuff out of the parts bin that we have for this. We've got quite an inventory of pieces and parts, and if we're going to have to order and buy some more stuff, we might as well know what we've got so we don't buy a whole bunch of extras. So we're going to go through here, organize it, sort it. But we got a pile of boots, some new beaver tails, a bunch of bolts and bushings, and we'll see what we got. Okay, here's what we have got. We got a whole bunch of left-handed boots, 2 right-handed boots, some beaver tails, miscellaneous bolts and bushings and whatnot, some liquid tubes, 1 closing wheel arm, and miscellaneous pieces in there. Here is the boot from the row that we were just taking off. Now, if you go back to the video that was posted on June 23rd of 2023, where we are tearing this thing apart the last time, and you look, you will notice that the boots that we took off of it then were worn so far they were wearing into that liquid tube in there. Like a 1/2 inch in, worn totally off of the bottom of this. Way, way more wear than what these have. Which makes me think they're probably okay. You should probably run them again. But here is what that one started as new. And when you look at it from this view, you can really see how much wear there is in this leading edge in that part and underneath it there. So, do we change them? Do we not change them? Do we change them? Do we not change them? This version, the extended wear one, which I have one more of, they're $100 a piece, basically. 98 something from Shoop. This version from John Deere is like 85 bucks a row. This version from Shoop, which I think this one is like $65. If they're all going to wear out in 1 year anyway, you might as well get the cheapest one because it'll last the year and you'll replace it and they're done. If for somehow these would last 2 years, better to do that, but not by a lot. And if we start seeing degraded performance because it's wearing out, where that one would be new every year, it probably makes more sense to just put those new ones on. The question then becomes, do we run these for another year or not? I hate making these decisions. You know, we've already got a bunch, so it's only going to cost us a few $100 to get the rest of them. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big a deal. I'm probably making this a bigger deal than it should be, but it's what I'm trying to figure out. So this is our pin that these pivot on. It has got a lot of wear in it, mostly in the pin, not the bushings, it appears. Here's the new one. Yeah, it's hard for you guys to see it, but it's there, trust me. Any light you can see between them is wear, because the new one is flush. Anyway, I also have the new bushings. Now these don't fit quite as tight on the new one as I thought they might, but they're not bad. Anyway, we can't get the bushings out of that arm with it on there. There's too much play and too much movement. So Brock is taking the arm off and we might have to take it over to our press, but we're trying to figure out how all this stuff comes apart. Well, that wasn't so bad. What about the bushings in that while we've got it there? Yeah, need to look at it. So this upper pivot here is greased. There's bushings in there, there's a pin, there's seals on each side to keep the dirt out. And it's tight. Like, those don't need to be replaced. That one I'm happy with. But we gotta get those bushings out of there. You gonna do that?
I'm gonna give it a try. I doubt they'll move.
Okay. Well, we can take it over to the press and just break the whole casting.
Exactly.
Or you can just break the casting here. I mean, I could. I don't know about you.
You are the world's strongest man. So.
Correct. My children say so anyway. Ooh, sounded solid.
It's moving.
It's moving. Okay. All right. And there's the new one. You don't really be able to see any difference.
Well, I don't know if that's
Very
old or new,
minor.
but that one's broken.
Okay, so this is the new pin. That's the play with the old bushing. That's the play with the new bushing. There's some, but it's definitely less. I can see light through there. If I'll hold it just right. So yeah, those need replaced. Yeah, why don't you flip that over and do it the same way you did the other one? No, you got it to move now. Oh, I see. Yeah, you can't support it. Seems dangerous. Like my foot's too close down there. You almost got it.
So strong, just breaking this pieces of wood.
Now what are you gonna do? Come on, this clip's getting too long. You gotta hurry up.
Can't rush perfection.
Put it closer to the block. There you go. You got it.
It's already broke.
Good job, Brock. Okay. We'll clean those up. We'll put the new bushings in and we'll put her back together. You know what else we should do while we got it this far? The bushings on the front. Right here. I don't know if that's bad or not, but there is definitely some slop there. And if we're rebuilding this, now's the time, right? Like, it's February, or it's January. We've got time. But yeah, so. And then there's a pivot here that's got a little slop in it. Is that bad? Is that too much? I don't know. How far do we go here? There's some slop in there. That just holds a gauge wheel. Doesn't even move. Might as well take one apart while we're here, though. All right, I kind of left you guys out of it for a while. Okay, so here's where we're at. Most of these bushings we're going to call good enough. So we actually took this whole arm off. Did I show that? I don't think I showed that, but we had it all off. Checked these bushings and pins up here. They're really not that bad. Like, there's not much movement in it when you move just that portion. So we're going to say that that one's good enough. I really wish we could tighten this up, but I showed you that bushing is tight in there. The whole thing slides, and I don't like that. So we looked up on John Deere's parts website to see if maybe there was a shim or something we could put in there. There's not. So I don't really know that that's wear so much as it's just the way it's designed. Maybe it's supposed to move a little bit. I don't know. This one here, yeah, that's a little loose. That's the one I really debated on. But all it does is hold a gauge wheel that's controlling our depth, and we've got it set as deep as we can go. We want it as deep as we can go. Like, it's not hurting anything to have that little bit of movement in there. So we're going to let that one go. These ones, however, they're getting replaced. I don't like that. And so we've already got the new bushings in here. We've got the new pin. This one could go back together. And then we just ordered a bunch of new parts for the rest of it. So I also ordered enough boots to replace it. We've already got a fair bit of them here, so I ordered what I need. Yeah, there's our pin. That's going to go in there and hold that arm on that's up there on there. We're going to run the blades again this year and replace them after this year. And the closing wheels are good. So that's what we've got to do. And if there's any bearings or anything on the closing wheels, we already had one closing wheel that we had to put a bearing in. 2. We had to, do that on that gauge wheel a little bit, work on that. We'll check the bearings on the blades. This one seems fine, good, tight. Yep, good. All of these bushings are going to have to come apart because there's no seals on this one. This one up here, there's seals, dust seals, keeps the dirt out, so there's nice grease in there. This one, not so much. So the dirt was kind of packed in there around it a little bit, or at least in the grease slot. Channel, that's what I'm looking for. And so I want to take them apart and clean it up, and then we can grease them good and get nice fresh grease in there. So that's what we're going to do. It's 5 o'clock, though. We're going home. I ordered the parts. They should be here in a day or two. And we'll keep working on this thing as we've got time. All right, guys, thanks for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. We'll be back tomorrow, I think. I don't really know what I'm doing tomorrow. Probably working on this. We might take a bunch of stuff apart, but I can't really put a bunch together until we get a bunch of parts. So we'll see. Pretty cool. That's a pretty good deal. We've got some seed coming later in the week. We've got Wednesday, I'm judging some FFA contests, and Friday I've got something else going on. I don't remember what, but anyway, a few things going on this week, but mostly we're working on this. So have a good night. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, questions, comments, all the stuff. Leave them down below. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, before we go, link to that truck listing is in the description. Let me know if you're interested in that. I had a ton of interest in our grain bins down to Berkey that I posted on Friday. I'm surprised by that. Pretty sure one of them, the 21 footer, is spoken for and sold. The 24 footer I had a few guys ask about, and just, yeah, I kind of didn't do much with it over the weekend. So that one's not spoken for, but I've had some people express interest, and I don't know, we'll see. Let me know if you're interested. I would still sell it to you. Outside of that, yeah, like I said, let me know on that truck if anybody has any interest in that. Tomorrow we might have a new venture announcement coming tomorrow. Stay tuned.